for silo and really get a look at the real need for inclusion and the real value for inclusion. I know you already know it, but I just want to boost you a little bit and let you know that we're here, those that you can see and those that you can't see. Because a large number of people with disabilities have invisible disabilities. And then there's folks like me who've been around for like 67 years with a disability, and I'm still here for all my doctors are dead. No, not going away.
So noted, and thank you.
All right, thank you.
Robert is also a gifted and talented artist.
Check is in the middle.
Mr. Black, if I could follow that too. We had a meeting last week with Mr. Checo, and the day that he was appointed permanent in his position, you recommended we meet with him. We met with him the next week regarding accessibility in the winter time around here, and snow, ice removal. That man has already moved mountains. Somebody made the urban myth about if you clear your sidewalk, then you can get sued. He's had the legal department on that. He's going to ask the mayor to do a release. That is not true. Every homeowner is required to shovel their snow. He's been great with that. We appreciate it.
Okay, then.
Then I'll come back to you.
You said one of the top 3 initiatives of the mayor was inclusion. What are the other 2? And did any of these have any effect on you coming to Cincinnati?
In terms of priorities, obviously inclusion is one of them. Obviously customer service, you know, in terms of how we engage and interact with the public. Public safety, obviously, you know, that's critical, and responsible development. Those are the ones that come to mind immediately. And we've always been on the same page. He doesn't have to, or no one has to sort of hit me upside the head with a 2x4. Those are things that are important to me as well.
I think I got 2 parts, and I don't know if I forgot the second part, but first you mentioned the data and performance analytics. I'm a numbers guy, so how transparent is that going to be for us, be able to see that information? And I'll probably try to remember my second one. You can answer that.
Yeah, the key is whatever we do in terms of performance and data analytics, will be very transparent. We'll leverage our website to be able to share that kind of information with the public, whereby at some point, if you're really interested in it and you want data sets of some sort or another, you'll be able to get those. In addition, we'll establish a dashboard, a graphical dashboard that tracks all of our priority goals and measurements, and will inform the public where we are, whether we're up or down in any category. And then perhaps even at some point we can have a 2-way communications capability using our website. You know, perhaps we can say, we can pose 3 questions. This is some stuff that we're thinking about doing. You know, what do you think? Let us know. We're interested in hearing about it. You know, things of that nature. So transparency is the order of the day. It's critical.
Second part. So it sounds like to me there are sometimes there are more organizations that need your help in regards to maybe possibly helping locate other alternatives or partnering with us in terms of other alternatives. You know, how open are you to to working with organizations, even finding opportunities for other organizations and helping them, bringing them into the fold in regards to potentially finding alternative resources?
We'll always be open, because that's a natural, organic part of what we do in terms of government. But we're headed with a lot of this stuff, because the resources are dwindling. We're transitioning to really a performance-based approach with everything that we do. You know, evidence-based approach, results, okay? You know, when we're looking at programs, okay, which ones are working the best? Where are we getting the greatest result? Because the resources are not going to increase. So where do we get the biggest bang for the dollar? You know, whose program is working in the most effective way, and that we can demonstrate and document and measure. I sense that that's where we're headed here. Yes, sir.
I'd like to return to two words that you said that I consider to be
I'm going to be quiet.
that I think are really very important. You used two words of mutual respect, but I am hoping that your office can provide leadership to deal with this sort of corrosive attitude that many people have to politicians about government, about public employees. And whatever can be done to increase the quality, not only the quantity, but the quality of public service, I think is of enormous benefit to us as volunteers. Because I seriously am concerned about the denigration of public service. And I think that's a very corrosive, cancerous attitude to have that I think my generation and future generation could possibly take on that in very bad ways.
No, all good points. And as I was saying earlier, if we do the things that we know we can and need to do as a local government, then all the other things will fall into place. The perceptions will be the right perceptions. The results will be the right results. So all the things that I've mentioned today hopefully will get us moving in that direction.
Oh, yes, sir, real quick, I have over 60 people signed up in this community. I've got other things going on, others, but I'd like to offer my services as to be an information liaison for you for market research, development, surveys in the community, because people shake my hand at it. So it would be very simple to get any information that you need. You can contact Mr. Harris, and I'm at his disposal.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
There is a strong representation from the Walnut Hills Redevelopment Foundation here and from Avondale too. Avondale and Walnut Hills people just want to raise your hand so the manager knows who's here. Okay, yeah.
People with disabilities, raise your hand.
People with disabilities, raise your hand. All right, all right.
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed your comments about what you saw, that there's 25 or more neighborhoods in the city that are vibrant and such. That's about half of them, which is a good number. But one thing that's developed as a trend in this, city is that we have stuck a lot of money and resources in downtown, banks, over the Rhine, and it's done well. But as you were talking also about this wave of development, in doing those things, and then also another movement of concentrating other funding in just specific neighborhoods, there's a lot of neighborhoods out there where the faucet is just completely turned off. We just like a trickle. And a trickle will do wonders, because the reality is you can't rebuild the city like you rebuilt over the Rhine. There's just not enough money, time, and energy to do that. And so neighborhoods that have made impact in their development sometimes just need a little money. So we had this program, NHI, easy to remember, NHI, that did just that. It helped those neighborhoods where they had one house here, two houses there. You take one or two on the lot, and you then had a tremendous impact, because on this block and that block, there was only one or two houses that needed the help. And others there living there could reinvest. That program ran so well, and the funding is going to be over on December 15th. Now, why the administration decided to shut it down, I don't know. But it's a heck of a program. All it needs is an infusion of money. The program is up and running. All you have to do really is throw some money in there and take it citywide. And we're not talking about that much money, but I just hate to see a good program that was doing good things in neighborhoods that don't need the over-the-Rhine kind of upgrade, just to be discontinued.
I'd have to look into that. I don't have enough info at the time to,
Well, the thing is I have just a half page here, and that would be all we need. You don't have to read a book.
well, I certainly do appreciate that, and I will read it. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any programs planned for entrepreneurship in the smaller neighborhoods? Because that's what we need. We need a business district that has been gone because they widened 50, they took everything out, and everything that was is gone. So basically, besides the housing problem we have to rebuild businesses to make the neighborhood more welcoming to people who want to move there. I mean, if they move there now, we have a HUD housing complex down there right now, and those people have nothing. And there is nothing there in the neighborhood. They walk from Sedamsville to Delhi. They walk from Sedamsville up to Price Hill to get their groceries. And any day you can see women with children and walkers. Those are hills up both ways. And they'll be carrying groceries, they'll be carrying babies, they'll be pushing things. Sometimes the toddler gets tossed out, the groceries go in the basket, and the toddler has to toddle along. And, you know, if we could get a small business started in there where we could have a local grocery store, you know, and maybe get some of the people who live there to be their own bosses, to have an education program where they could learn how to run a business. We could get something started because the business buildings are there, they're vacant.
Well, that's a huge question. I'm, like I said, I'm still getting up to speed on what we're doing. I'm not quite sure what we have in trade and development that would relate to this.
Yeah, there certainly are in the city, not just in our department, but there's a lot of resources. It's the biggest issue we have is the market, obviously, and Sedamsville is one of your toughest cases because it sits at the base of the hill on the west side. So the population is the majority of the population is up on the hill. So Sedamsville has a real tough time supporting because there's just so few residents. So yeah, it's a market condition too.
Right. It's lack of density. People,
And we got short-sighted too, because when they did the statistical analysis for the city, they lumped us with Riverside. And in doing that, that brought up our death rate because ours is much lower than everywhere else around the city. And it changed a lot of economic things. It made us look better than what we are because we weren't separated from that area.
But Sedamsville has a new CDC, which these two helped to start. It is just getting itself together. It had 1 year of a very modest amount of money. And they just put in their application for another year of funding, and we'll see how that goes. But they do have, I mean, there is a committed board out there, and they have a good leader, and I think things are looking up. But they have to keep going. You know, neighborhoods can't stop once they've had a little win. They have to keep going.
Thank you.
The Department of Trade and Development has worked with LISC to convene on a bi-monthly basis the financial institutions and funders in the community. The conversations were geared toward leveraging resources and assisting financial institutions in acquiring those CRA credits. So I would recommend that you consider looking into the Department of Trade and Development to get a matrix was developed of the various neighborhoods, and it goes to what you were talking about in terms of what types of resources may be needed for those neighborhoods.
Okay, thank you. We'll do that. Yes, ma'am.
She brought up a good point about the grocery store, not having one in Sedamsville. But actually, if you look at the communities that serve lower income populations, very few of them have grocery stores. And if they do have any kind of market at all, it's usually low-income market that doesn't have fresh fruit